Has there ever been allegations of domestic violence in the relationship between each other? Has she ever harmed him?
Not a single time, nor has he her.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and yet again we are going to take another look at the Frankie divorce saga as it happens, because Kevin Frankie, that is Ruby's husband, Ruby's husband, has his lawyer has spoken out about the impending divorce and what it means for Kevin and what it means for Ruby and everything. It's all very exciting, you know. We're going to find out more about what the lies and what are not lies and things like that. It's great. I spoke on the Law and Crime Network, so we're going to take a look at their video and have a look, see what they said.
I want to bring in right now a familiar face here on Sidebar, Randy Kester, Kevin Frankie's attorney. He joins us once more to talk about this and the current overall situation. Randy, good to see you again. Thanks for coming on.
For the invite, I appreciate it.
So I'm going to start with the big question. Why did your client file for divorce?
Well, we've had reservations as we went along here and didn't want to complicate the custody issues in the juvenile court, but it's sort of been on Kevin's mind once he found out the full truth about how these children had been treated while they were in Ruby's care. And
seeing this really irritates me a lot, because there's a lot of talk all the time about how Kevin is not happy with how Ruby treated his kids whilst they were in her care, i.e. the last year or two, you know, that period of time. But there's no mention of the fact that they weren't treated very well before they went to live with Ruby. So, you know, I think he either doesn't realize or he intentionally forgets that he was party to a little bit of abuse there too.
And some other things that have been going on behind the scenes. He you know, his gut reaction was he wanted an immediate divorce back down the road, and then in consideration of what he thought might be best for the kids, he didn't want to create these barriers between he and his still his wife, who he loved very much and previously wanted to be back with and with his family. But just with all that's gone on and all that's been discovered, just thought it was the right time to do this.
So to be clear, during the time he was separated from Ruby and the kids and he was living on his own, he hadn't thought about divorcing her?
Oh, he was still desperately trying to get his family back together and go back and live with Ruby and have a good life.
So that right there is all you really need to know about the situation. The only reason Kevin is wanting a divorce right now is because of what has recently come out about how his kids were treated recently, right? He had every intention of trying to get back with Ruby, so they hadn't split up. You know, when they lived separately, they hadn't split up. They weren't gonna get divorced, they weren't separating, they were trying to work on it or whatever, right? Kevin, in his mind, everything was fine, the kids were fine, he just wanted Ruby back and his family back together. But in his mind, nothing bad had happened behind the scenes. You know, he wasn't fed up with how his kids were being treated. You know, as we know, his kids were treated badly for about a decade.
They were very connected as a family and as a husband and a wife, and I mean that was his whole goal. Even the objective of the therapy that he was, this crazy therapy that he was being subjected to, his understanding of the objective of that therapy was that would reunite him with his family and reunite him with his wife once he was able to get around all of the faults that they felt that he had that would otherwise poison the family if he was at home.
I feel like that's an important point to bring up as well, because I feel like a lot of people won't associate this situation in that he's saying that Kevin was basically manipulated into thinking that if he separated from his wife, then he would be able to long term get back and have a happy marriage with his wife. And that was all Jodie's doing. She did this to families all the time, and he also did it to Kevin and Ruby. Now, whether you choose to have sympathy with Kevin is up to you, but that is basically a level of manipulation. And I don't know as well, though, whether that, he's staying away, and the reason why he didn't go and save his kids who were being abused was because he was trying to stay away as per Ruby and Jodie's request, in order to get their happy marriage back together.
But it seems to me he believes all the allegations against her, that this isn't a misunderstanding, that he believes she abused the kids.
He believes that their children were abused by Ruby and Jodie, acting in consort with one another.
So Kevin believes that Ruby and Jodie were abusing his kids, but no, he's not putting his own hands up and saying, hang on a second, I did the same. Okay, he didn't bound and gag them or whatever, Ruby and Jodie did, but he did do a level of abuse whilst he lived at home with his kids throughout years. He was party to that.
I wanted to ask you about the kids. First, how are they doing? And B, what is their reaction to the fact that their parents are going to get divorced?
Don't know what their reaction is. Don't even know if they know about it, because they're not in Kevin's custody yet, and they're not in Ruby's custody, obviously.
Okay, so I find that quite concerning, if I'm being honest with you. You've got everybody and anybody talking about this divorce, including myself, but also Kevin's actual lawyer talking about it on a news show. But nobody knows if the kids actually know if their parents are getting a divorce and this is all going on. Nobody knows. Nobody ever thought to actually run it by them or just check, to make sure that it was okay before taking this public. Or is that too much to ask? I mean, I know this is in the US, but I just feel like it might be not really appropriate to have put this public when the kids may not know.
So, to the extent they know about any of these filings, I don't know. I haven't talked to Sherry or Chad. They're the two adults, but I'm sure the state's probably keeping the kids insulated from this.
Well, those are the adult children. So you're saying Kevin never even spoke to them about the fact that he was going to file for divorce?
I don't know. I haven't had a conversation with him about if he advised the older kids or not. My conversations have just been with him. So I don't know if he's advised the older kids or not.
As part of the, well, let me just go as far as you can tell. So there's a lot we don't know about this divorce filing. Is there any, can you give us any insight into what the grounds are for the filing? I mean, why he filed for divorce? There's always a number of different reasons and legal reasons, but there's a lot of it we don't know.
Sure. Well, in Utah, there are a number of alternatives that you can file under. You can file under mental cruelty, or the primary one that almost everyone uses is just simply to state there's irreconcilable differences. And clearly, in this case, the way that Ruby's treated the kids and treated the marriage and treated Kevin certainly, at the very least, constitutes irreconcilable differences. That wouldn't foster a marriage in anyone's life. So we just filed it under the generic term of irreconcilable differences, in that they certainly have differences of opinion about how to raise their kids.
Well, child abuse, would be an irreconcilable difference in parenting styles, I guess, but they didn't have that difference of opinion whilst they were parenting as a couple.
Has there ever been allegations of domestic violence in the relationship between each other? Has she ever harmed him?
Not a single time, nor has he her.
Okay.
There's never been an instance of any kind of, until these allegations came forward, there's never been any allegation of corporal punishment to these children, physical punishment. There's never been any allegation And Kevin has been adamant about that.
And this isn't the first time we've heard from this particular lawyer telling us that there has not been any physical punishment, any physical issues with the kids, right? And we know from watching all the vlogs that all those clips which show that the kids have been punished and have been had various punishments or abuse towards them, not necessarily physical but emotional, mental and everything, right? Those are still abuse. It doesn't have to be physical in order to be abuse. So he's choosing his words very carefully there, or he's just being ignorant about it. Maybe he hasn't watched all the clips that we've watched. Maybe he doesn't think that they are in fact abuse. Mental abuse is still abuse, but according to this lawyer, Randy Kester, he doesn't believe so. Anyway, yeah, that is pretty much that, and we are back up to date. I'm sure there's more to come from this story as it rumbles on, and I hope they have a good divorce and happy divorce proceedings and everything. But I would say that in terms of trying to divvy up what each party should get out of the marriage, I think neither should get anything, to be honest. Maybe just a bare minimum to live. But the kids really should get the lion's share. I think I've mentioned that already. But, as we know, that probably won't be the case, because no lawyer, no judge in the world is going to look at it and say, look, hang on a second, I think that your kids did indeed make you all the money and it should be theirs. No, they will give all the money over to both parties on an equal keel, which I think is wrong. Anyway, let me know what your opinions are in the comments below. Do you think that Kevin or Ruby should get anything out of their divorce, or should the kids get it all? Until next time, please give this video a massive thumbs up, comment all your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Until next time, have a lovely day, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.